Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. The following story that you're going to be listening to, it was sent to me by one of our dear brother. The message reads like this. Hello, Brother Nanshi, how are you? Can you please post my own story as hidden identity? So when I came here to the United Kingdom, I then got caught up and I started living, and I thought that I was living a very good life. I used to live in darkness, though I did not even realize that the devil was the one that was causing all of these things that were happening in my life. For years, my life was consumed by alcohol. It started off innocently enough, a drink that I would have after work just to unwind. This was a way to take the edge off, but soon that single drink turned into many, and before I even knew it, I was drinking like each and every day. Every day I had to drink, and I was unable to function without drinking alcohol. I could not do anything without ever drinking alcohol, and there are some things that happened when I was still in Zim. I think that made me to fall into this sin of becoming an alcoholic. When I was still back home, this was after my father had passed away. So my father's elder brother, my uncle, he was a school principal. So he then took me at the same boarding school where I used to go to. That was where he was the school principal. And he then took me and he told me that there were some things that were supposed to be done on me since I had lost my father. He then took me and we went to this other traditional healer's place. When we went to that traditional healer's place, that was when I was taken to this other house where there were a lot of graves. He took me to the grave, and that traditional healer was holding a red garment which he used to tie my hand to this other beer bottle. The bottle was unopened, full of alcohol. He tied it to my hand and he made me to walk towards this other grave, and he said that I was supposed to place this bottle on the grave 3 times. This was what I did. I would place it, lift it, place it, lift it, until I had done this 3 times. And after that, that was when he performed more rituals on me, and then we returned back to the school. So I think that he was performing a ritual so as to make me to become a drunkard, someone that will never achieve anything in his life. Even though I came here to the UK, but still the life that I was living, you could just tell that this person had the spirit of poverty that was following him. Alcohol became like my escape, my comfort, my everything. It was there when I was stressed. Whenever I felt so lonely, alcohol was like my friend. When I was angry, it was there for me. But I saw that alcohol, indeed, it was driving like a wedge between me and the people that I loved, especially my wife. The day that I went deep into drinking beer, that was the day that my wife left me. She took all of our kids because of the way that I was being violent with her. She took our kids, and I lost my job because I was always drunk at all the time. I didn't even care. After I had lost my job, I could not pay the bills anymore, my home, my dignity. But still, when I started staying in the streets, I could not even stop. I did not even want to stop. Most of the people that you see getting so drunk, some of them, they are being controlled by evil spirits. I was in and out of rehab, and it did not even work at all. I was convinced that as for me, I was beyond saving. How can you save someone? How can you take someone to rehab? Someone that had been taken to the graves by his uncle and then made to place a beer bottle on top of a grave. Even though I was being taken to rehab, but I was bitter and angry and completely lost. I started blaming everyone. I blamed everyone for my problems, and especially God. I found myself blaming God so much, and I was like, how could he let my life fall apart like this? How could he just stand by and watch me destroy myself? Why didn't he send his angels to come and guide me? Then there was this other day. It was really a rough day, and then in the evening, like I really hit rock bottom. I then went to this other dirty motel, a cheap one that I used to go to. I was alone in that dirty motel room, and I had a bottle in my hand, and I realized that I had nothing left to lose anymore. I had pushed everyone away, burned every bridge. I was completely and utterly alone, and in that moment, I knew that I could not go on like this, like forever. I had to keep on like running from my pain, and I could not do that anymore. The more that I thought about it, the more painful it got, and I told myself that this had to stop. The guilt that I was feeling on that day, that was when I realized that the devil, he can make you get into sin, and when he sees that you have gotten so deep into sin, what he will do is that he will make you to feel so guilty, so much that you will think that it is far much better for you to commit suicide. So for the first time in years, when I felt like I was about to commit suicide, I then remembered my mom. My mom was a very prayerful woman. The more that I thought about her, that was when I heard her voice. She was saying that I have to pray. I had to pray, and I was about to lose my life. So I dropped to my knees and I started praying. I didn't even know what to say anymore. I just begged God to help me, to save me from myself. I was broken, desperate, and truly speaking, I was so ashamed. But in that darkness, I felt something like I had never felt in a very long time, like there was a glimmer of hope. And this glimmer of hope, it was really faint, even barely there, but it was enough to keep me from picking up that bottle again. The next day, that was when I sought help again, but this time it was different. I then told myself that I really needed to go to a rehab, but first I had to try to go to church. So I walked into this other church and I met people who didn't even judge me for my past, who saw the pain that I was in and who wanted to help me. They prayed with me, encouraged me, and for the first time, I felt like I was not alone anymore. I felt like maybe, just maybe, God had not given up on me. I started going to church, reading the Bible, and learning about Jesus. The more that I learned, the more I realized how much I needed Him in my life. I really needed His forgiveness, His grace, His love. And one Sunday morning, that was when I gave my life to Christ. I surrendered everything, my pain, my guilt, my past, everything into His hands. It was not easy, and this did not happen overnight, but slowly that urge to drink, to consume alcohol simply faded away. The more that I relied on God, the less that I relied on alcohol. I was then told by the pastor to give myself a mission to read the Bible from Genesis to Revelations. And when I started doing that, whenever I would think about alcohol, I'll return back to the Bible and I'll start reading. And the Bible filled the void that I had tried to fill with booze for so many years. And it gave me a new purpose. I was able to restore my relationship, and I brought my family back to me. And it has given me hope, but still my heart, it hurts whenever I see some people that will be called alcoholics, because I know that you becoming a drunkard, it has a spirit that will be making you to become a drunkard. When I look back and when I see how far I have come, I am no longer the man that I used to be, and I want to thank Jesus. He saved me when I could not save myself. He loved me when I could not love myself. Yes, I know that I am still a work in progress, but I know that with Him by my side, I will never walk this journey alone, and for that, I am always going to be grateful to Him. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our dear brother. Indeed, strange things they do happen in this world.